Oftentimes, when I take an exit ramp, if my mind isn't preoccupied with something else, I think of Kentucky State Trooper Jason Ellis. This is a website, policemuseum.org. Police Officer Jason Ellis, Bardstown, Kentucky, Police Department. Age 33, served 7 years on the police force from 2006 to May 25, 2013. At 1:59 a.m. on May 25, 2013, after a late arrest and having put his prisoner in the Bardstown jail, Officer Ellis secured his tour off duty on second shift and headed home to Bloomfield. He did not have Fiegel with him at the time and was operating a pool car. As such, he did not have a camera mounted on the dash. Jason Ellis was also the K-9 officer, and his partner was a German Shepherd named Figo. About 2:30 a.m., as he left the Bluegrass Highway on exit 34, he found the ramp blocked with tree limbs. He turned on his overhead lights, turned the patrol car to block the ramp, and began clearing the limbs. With several cradled in his arms, shotgun blasts rang out from the embankment. Pellets tore into Officer Ellis's arm, side, neck, head, and other areas not protected by his ballistic vest. He fell to the ground among the limbs he was carrying. Soon afterwards, a woman drove her Toyota off the highway and up to the patrol car. She stopped and waited. At 2:36 a.m., Chad Monroe, a distillery worker, came up behind the Corolla, got out, spoke to the woman, and then went to help the officer pick up limbs. When he saw Officer Ellis on the ground in a pool of blood, he ran back and told the driver of the Corolla to call the police, and then went back to render whatever aid he could. At 2:40 a.m., the woman entered Officer Ellis's cruiser and called for help on his radio, reporting that the officer had been involved in an accident and she thought he was dead. Kentucky State Trooper Mike Gariantes responded and determined that he had been shot. Nelson County Coroner Rayfield Hufflin later said Ellis was shot multiple times with a 12-gauge shotgun. His service weapon was still in his holster. About 11 a.m., 50 cars from multiple agencies escorted his body from the scene to the Kentucky Medical Examiner in the Jefferson County Government Building in Louisville, Kentucky, in the Kentucky State. The investigation. Kentucky State Police conducted and continued to conduct the investigation into his death. Initially, investigators believe Officer Ellis, while on his way home, stopped to assist a motorist and was murdered. By the end of May 25th, it was ascertained that the trajectory of the bullets placed the shooter on a hill above the exit. It was then believed that Ellis stopped to move debris from the roadway and was ambushed, the coroner's office said. By May 29, 2013, Bardstown Police Chief Rick McCubbin went public with, "We believe that he was the target," McCubbin said, because this was methodical, precise, planned, and executed in a perfect fashion, unfortunately. The debris that Officer Ellis removed was tree limbs from a tree not indigenous to the area, so it was likely brought there for the purpose of setting up the ambush. Indigenous, originating or occurring naturally in a particular place. Native.
Indigenous.
In the early morning hours of May 25, 2013, Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis was killed as he headed home from work. Around 2 a.m., Ellis clocked out for the night, taking the Bluegrass Parkway home to his wife and 2 young sons, the same route he always took. He got off the highway at exit 34, but stopped on the ramp when he saw something blocking the road. Ellis stepped out of his vehicle to remove the tree debris when out of the darkness, bullets flew, striking him. 5 years later, the case remains unsolved, and many questions are left unanswered. Was Jason Ellis specifically targeted? How many people took part? And why? Why would someone take a life that night? One challenge in solving the case, the location of the ambush. Much of the exit ramp is hidden from view by tall stone embankments. The curve of the road shields much of it from view when on the highway. There are a few homes or businesses nearby, and the shooting happened in the middle of the night. Anyone with information can call the Kentucky State Police at 800-222-5600 5555 or email elliscaseetips@ky.gov. For the Courier-Journal, I am Matt Glowicki.
Here is the exit ramp, exit number 34, that Officer Jason Ellis took that night on his way home. So they have police tape here, more yellow tape here, and then further up there's some yellow tape. When I look at this exit, it's shielded by this ledge here and all of this grassy area and trees above, and then this tree here. Why would the murderer not place the tree limbs around the corner more, so that the crime would be completely unnoticeable to anyone who was driving by along the highway? The police can also determine the location of where the murderer was standing when he shot State Trooper Jason Ellis, removing the limbs from the exit ramp. There are many cases that really are so disturbing that you think of them often, and this is one of them. I'm going to link these articles down below so that if you're interested in reading them, you can check them out. I will also link video footage of Officer Jason Ellis's press conference. So remember, if you take an exit ramp and you see tree limbs on the exit ramp and there hasn't been a storm and those limbs are just laying in the road, never ever get out of your vehicle to remove the limbs. Something or someone very sinister could be lurking in the area and may step out from the shadows and take your life. If you're on a motorcycle, try to go around the debris. Never get off your bike in a dark area where you really can't see who's lurking in the area. I think they should have released the kind of tree limbs that were placed in the road immediately, so that if there were tree limbs removed from someone's property and the trees matched, especially the cuts, then they may have found the perpetrator right away. If the perpetrator cut down trees on his own property, they still may have been able to find out if they had investigated the area where these trees are grown and the murderer had cut down trees from his own property, then they could have found the trees or found the stumps or found the area where these trees had been cut down from. So I absolutely think of this case a lot when I'm taking exit ramps. Now this exit ramp is very, very secluded. Imagine taking this exit ramp at 2 a.m. in the morning on your motorcycle. Now imagine seeing the tree limbs in the road. So remember, never ever get out of your vehicle to remove debris in the road. Go around it and call the police. And never ever get off your motorcycle and remove the debris, because there could be something very sinister lurking about in the area. So to Jason Ellis's wife, Amy, and his two sons, Hunter and Parker, I hope that one day his murderer is caught. That's gonna do it. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.